Hi everybody. Today I'm going to try to explain how to make a pair of 4-yard pantaloons. It's a relatively easy process. You don't need very many materials and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time. I can usually whip up a pair in about 45 minutes once the fabric's washed and ironed. So pick your fabric, 4 yards of anything you'd like, really. I'm a big fan of quilting cotton because when it washes up it comes up nice and soft and I can wear it pretty much year-round. Minnesota summers get kind of humid and sticky, and the winters get bitter-ass cold, so you don't necessarily want fleece for the summer and gauze in the winter, but it's nice to have multiple pairs that you can wear throughout the year. So just pick 4 yards of whatever fabric you really enjoy, something with a fun pattern or a cool texture. My demo is going to be this really adorable kitty fabric, which will not actually be made into pantaloons. I don't have enough for that. This is from another project, but I don't also have room to work with 4 yards of fabric. But take your 4 yards, wash it, dry it, treat it as if it's already a pair of pants, and that's how you're going to wash it because that'll help shrink it down enough if it's going to shrink. And it's just wash it first, iron it, and then you won't have to worry about it after the pants are already made. Cut it in half so that you have 2 2-yard lengths. Or you can buy 2 yards of 2 different fabrics and have 2 different color pant legs. It's something that I enjoy doing because it's super fun. Either way, you want to have 2 2-yard lengths of fabric, and it'll be 2 yards this way by the width that's listed on the cardboard that the fabric comes on. So for shorties like me, I'm barely 5'3". 45-inch fabric is perfect because I don't have to do any cutting. If you're a little bit taller, you might want to go into the 50 and 60 inchers, and then you'll just have to adjust for your height. But take your 2-yard fabric and lay it out. And what you'll want to do is figure out how tall you need your pant leg, and that'll just be a measurement I take from floor to hip, and that's where you want your waistband to sit. And for me, I usually figure about 36 inches, but then don't forget to add in probably 6-7 inches for your channels for your elastic as well as for your hems. So that's why I just use the 45-inch, because then I don't have to cut it down, and if it's too long, you get that cool puddle of fabric around your feet and it looks awesome. You just have to be careful, because if you're like me, you end up tripping and falling on your face in a not so graceful way. But for all intents and purposes, let's just leave this as you're not cutting any height off of your pant leg. Just leave it at the 45. So take your 2-yard by 45-inch, lay it out someplace flat. Make sure you have both pieces of fabric stacked right side in to each other. And now we've got to figure out the crotch of your pants, because basically each 2-yard length is going to be 1 pant leg. So the standard that I use for my rise is 7 inches, and that'll be coming down from the top corner this way. Just mark 7 inches, and then from the top corner in, on one side make it 6 inches, on the other side make it 8 inches. There's a little bit of playing around with this number based on the size of your butt. So, make a practice pair in just some cheapy cotton, whatever, and play around with that to see. It generally works for me, and I'm kind of big bootied, so it should work for most people, but it's different for everybody. But those are the measurements I use: 7 inches down, 6 and 8 in, and then cut it in a U shape. So you will have something a little bit like this, and this will be your crotch. So once you have those cut, fold your fabric so that the end of your U's match up. So you'll see there's just this little bit of overlap from your 6 to your 8 inch there. But there's your crotch, and this will be your inside pant seam. So just sew along the side down, and that'll get you your inner seam. So you will have something that looks, this one's also just like this. It's folded in half. It's one long stitch that you have to worry about. So do that on both pant legs, and you'll have this nice little tube here, like a pillowcase. That's one pant leg. So take your pant legs, leave one inside out, and flip one right side out. Your right side out pant leg goes inside the other one. So if we can imagine that this one is stitched up, just put them in so that the U's are matched up. And then I like to stitch from the inside seam, so I will put this on my machine with that inside leg seam in the center and stitch along the U on one side first, and then I will flip it and do the other side. And this is about the time where I'm going to break my camera and take the digital into the sewing room so that you can see what I'm doing, because I'm doing a half-assed job of explaining it. So bear with me, and this is going to be a terrible edit. Okay, so I got the camera set up. We'll see if I can do this and make it so that you can see anything. So here's my my 2-yard pant leg. You can see here's the U of the one side of the crotch and the other side, and we're just gonna do a quick stitch. I usually like to make a small rolled hem, almost just iron it a little bit and then flip it in again and do a stitch. The way you do your hems is your call. I don't care. It depends on the fabric. Cottons are pretty forgiving, so I will do typically a straight stitch and then go through and zigzag just for a little bit of reinforcement. But for right now, I'm just going to show you straight stitch, because that's me being lazy. There you go. And I'm not going to go all crazy with the hems and whatnot, because it's unnecessary. And of course, my tension's way off. Okay, anyway. So here's my other pant leg. And the inside-out pant leg will stay inside out. Flip the other one so that it's right side out. So now when you stack one pant leg inside the other, their right sides are facing. And when you're dealing with a 2-yard pant leg, this is pretty obnoxious to deal with, because you get to get them all lined up. But tuck them one inside the other. I don't even know how this video is turning out. And so you have your 2 inside seams facing each other. And I like to just start on one side. And my needle is, there we go. So start on one side. And we're just going to sew our crotches. Kind of awkward. Alright. Let's get stitching. And like I said, normally I like to reinforce this. I'll do a straight stitch through and then a zigzag. And my fabrics here are, because they were scrap fabrics, don't line up the way they would if you were doing this properly. And maybe someday I'll make another one, another video that isn't so shitty. But that was one side, and now I just flip it over and start in the center again, because it just makes it easier for me. You can try going from one side to the other if you are a better seamstress than I am. I suck at this and generally stick to straight stitch and zigzag. And getting around the U can be a little bit of a pain. Just be patient. Tell your sewing machine that you love it, because it's wonderful. There we go. A little bit. And good enough. So I have my 2 pant legs, one inside the other, stitched, let's see if I can get this here, stitched along the U, which is the crotch. And now what should happen, if I did this right, is when I turn these out, I have, there we go, what look like a pair of really cute kitty boxers, and actually that might be what these turn into when I'm done. So at this point you're kind of on your own for doing the elastic and whatnot, because it's really hard to try and show that on video. But basically take your elastic. I recommend the 1.5 to 2 inch no roll, and doing hems are a fairly, simple thing. Just fold. I like to iron to get that crease in there and make sure that I've got a level, even hemline, because sometimes that doesn't work out. But yeah, so just real simple pantaloon thing, and that's it. So let me know if you have questions. Go ahead and tell me if this sucked balls, because I'm sure it did, and you're not gonna offend me. Yeah, I'll try and answer any questions you guys have. Thanks. So I just watched the video of me trying to sew the pant legs, and there's a weird color thing going on and whatever, but I hope that kind of gets across what I was trying to explain. So yeah, if you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, Wookie and I, say hello, Wookie. Yeah, she just doesn't even care, do you? No. We're gonna go back to dicking around on the internet and avoiding any sort of productivity.